Hi everyone, I'm Ishan from Fictiv. I'm one of the applications engineers here, and with us today is Talon Bench from Orion Labs. He is the lead product engineer there and will be helping us tear down the Navdy heads-up display. As a quick intro to the company and the product, it raised more than $1 million within the first week, and ultimately these products started shipping out in 2016. So let's start off with the Thumbwheel part of the overall Navdy heads-up display. Talon, would you mind walking me through what sort of processes were used and materials were used to make these individual components?
We have this nice silicone band here, and the rest of these parts are probably injection molded. In order to make this fit all different cars and not gouge anybody's nice leather steering wheel, they provided this nice soft silicone band that you kind of stretch around your steering wheel to size. When you're molding this part, you didn't have to have a separate feature in the mold to form this, because it'd be very difficult to get this out of the mold. You'd have to have a part of the mold extract here so you can pop the part out. With this, you just have to have, actually you can probably form it with the same portion of the mold, the same slide that forms this. So you have one action that comes in here and makes this hole, and this is a really small, really cheap part that you can just drop in after the fact. Yeah, this just pops off. It's held on by a few snaps. Generally, you do want to think about heat sinking with LEDs, but because this device is run off of a single 2032, we're talking about milliwatts per spread over a very long time frame. So I wouldn't be too worried about heat sinking for this particular device.
Audience, this is David Mayer. He's our typical teardown expert for our past teardowns. This is great timing because we actually wanted to confirm what the name of this particular feature is over here.
The part that spins?
Yeah.
Rotary encoder with some kind of detent in it?
Oh,
Not what
yeah.
you're looking for?
One of the things that I wanted to see is actually popping this plastic off. It says all your base are belong to us.
It actually is an interesting point though. That's a thing people do more now, where silkscreen jokes and
Silly
Easter
things on it,
eggs
yeah.
into their boards.
An interesting feature on this board is that usually PCB traces go at 45 or 90 degree angles, and these ones go at an odd angle that's just straight to the battery contacts. I didn't know if they were trying to minimize copper for RF reasons, but it's just indicative of the attention to detail that went into this whole product.
All right, so we've torn down the Thumbwheel assembly. Now it's time to move on to the main heads-up display.
It's interesting.
Yes.
Definitely an injection molded part. If we flip this over, you'll see they've got a set of 5 pogo pins here, which is an interesting choice. It's a great choice for when you need an electrical connection just by dropping one thing onto another, but they can also tend to bounce out of contact if your product gets jostled around a lot. Another interesting good design trick here is that I started prying this apart and couldn't get it open. And that's because they were hiding some of their screw heads under this sticker. So, always a classic designer trick. I wonder if this is the first time we start seeing some interesting things about the heat sinking system. It would have been easy to make this plastic, but metal will have a better thermal conductivity. As you can see, you've got these nice big ports here, which I would guess probably feed a fan. So it looks like they've got a metal mirror on top of a plastic holder. Metal makes sense because it's flexible. You can't do this with glass. And there we go. After prying this apart, we've got some interesting things in here. We've got a battery, actually, which is somewhat surprising. We've got a nice fan here with a nice big copper heatsink. We've got another heatsink over here, probably over some of the logic. Got a heatsink here. So it looks like they're pulling air through the device with this fan and pushing it out that way. So the general airflow for the device would be in here, under through the projector, and then out through this fan.
And this is the projector right here?
Yes, this is the projector. It's also got a nice big neodymium magnet here to hold it down to the base plate. We've got a U-Blocks down here. We've got a patch GPS antenna here. Got a WinBand chip. This patch antenna here is interesting, but it's intriguing that they put it so far away from the rest of the board. So like getting it away from the heat sinks and the fan, and probably also this big magnet here was, I'm sure, a design consideration. If you can see around the side here, it's a stack of sheet metal plates. And usually this is meant for air to pass through sideways to pick up more heat, kind of like a radiator in a car. Also, as far as heat sinking goes, you can see all this foam back here to try and direct air to make sure it goes through the heat sinks and through the fan, and this nice fan duct here as well. So somebody certainly was thinking about airflow through this device to try and make sure it cooled the projector. It's an interesting copper heatsink. It's designed to pull heat out of these two areas and dissipate it through these fins. I keep seeing these wires sticking out of the assembly, and I think these are temperature probes. So I think there's some active temperature monitoring going on that probably kicks the fan on when it thinks it needs to cool down. These little temperature probes are interesting because it's always expensive to have somebody sit there and hand solder wires to your board. If at all possible, you want to SMT everything on the board at the same time. So either these were added later, Navdy added these test points and then realized that they needed temperature probes and so soldered them on. Or there was some reason that they needed to know the temperature at these two key areas on this heatsink and this one, and really had to pay the price of putting in a custom temperature probe. Yeah, they're definitely trying to, as hard as they can, to get heat out of this area. There's this little grill on the bottom of the device that I thought was for a speaker, but if you see underneath it, there's no speaker, but there was this nice big heatsink right on top of these two chips. So I think there was a air path that came in here, cooled these two chips, and then got pulled up through this heatsink over here. So clearly a lot of thought went into the heat sinking in this device. Yeah, these are polycarb parts. You can see from this mark on the mold. They have some nice assembly features. They do have some bosses that actually have press-in studs here. It looks like this part is the only one that has them, so maybe they only wanted to set up one jig so that they could put all of the parts of the PCB down. Yeah, we have this whole heatsink here for the camera as well. There's a metal can that might be shielding it from EMI. It's probably providing EMI shielding, heat sinking, and also structural support in here. Got some interesting button design here, where this is the power button. There's so many PCBs in this. I'm really surprised.
So that's a definitely more of a traceability requirement for customers, where typically they would want parts marked with the part number, date code, lot code, but it's really hard to make modifications to a steel tool consistently on a daily basis and still have the output that's required. So the way to overcome that typically is to have some sort of print on the ejector pins, and you can swap out the ejector pins on a daily basis and still be able to have that traceability depending on the day that you're making the parts.
It's also interesting to see these QR codes. These are usually factory tracking stickers, and so it'll have information like the lot number or the unit that it's associated with as it passes through testing and quality control.
All right, so we've finally taken apart the Navdy heads-up display and had a lot of learnings as well from the initial points of interest that we had. So feature number one being the clever injection molding design.
Yeah, over and over, Navdy used the strategy of taking what could have been one large, complex mold and breaking it into several different, smaller, simple molds. This certainly increased their part count, but it probably overall decreased their tooling cost and allowed them to get a lot of interesting features in. So, if your parts are too large or complex, think about breaking them up into smaller parts.
Feature of interest number two, the heat sinking, given the high operating temperature requirements.
Yeah, this product was almost like just a zoo of different types of heat sinks. There was a fan driving the whole thing. There's a copper plate, there's a couple of extruded aluminum heat sinks, there's a copper heat pipe and fins, all kinds of different ways that you can move heat out of a unit.
And lastly, feature of interest number 3, the add-on capabilities that Navdy would have wanted to explore for second generation, third generation products.
We didn't actually find as many of those as we were expecting to, but what we did find is a really interesting picture of Navdy as a company. There's a lot of custom parts here, and clearly a lot of thought went into developing this hardware. However, given that this ended up being an $800 device and Navdy had trouble selling it, maybe the lesson to be learned here is that adding another custom part and developing absolutely the best hardware you can is not always the right thing to do in the first generation of a product. So, while we're designing as engineers, it's important to keep in mind the business perspective as well. How much money do we have, and how much are our customers willing to pay for our products?
So if you like this teardown and want to see more, click subscribe and like the video below.
And if you want to find out more about the optical design that Navdy used, stick around, because there's a bonus round of projector teardown.
Oh, that was weird. All right,
I can't even see.
there we go.
But wait, there's more. Stick around for a few more seconds. We're going to have a cool bonus round on this tiny projector that's in the middle of the Navdy. So you're getting light coming in here, bouncing off of a mirror here, and then through this lens train out the front onto the display. Some really interesting things here. This is a very small projector that carries a lot of light under high heat. And you can see this is like a different plastic than the rest of the device. It's probably a glass-filled, maybe a peak or a palm. Our favorite part of this so far is actually this feature, which is a factory focus slider. Using this, you can slide the front lens forward and back just a little bit to focus this. One of these boards said projector for Navdy, so we're assuming that Navdy contracted a projector manufacturer to design this, because this is a lot of R&D and expertise that goes into this.